A technical feast for the eyes can be discovered by watching The Green Knight, written and directed by David Lowery, who did The Old Man, The Gun, A Ghost Story, as well as 2016's Pete's Dragon. If you forgot that Pete's Dragon was remade, don't worry, pretty much everybody else fucking did. But nevertheless, this is based on the poem by the Gawain poet, or Garwin, Gar she blows. Depending on the accent you have, you may pronounce this in a number of different ways. This comes to us courtesy of A24 Films, and anytime A24 has their label slapped on something, I will do my best to watch it as soon as it comes out in theaters. Unfortunately, I didn't get to this in theaters. I had to watch it on Showtime, because they have all the A24 films there, at least, pretty much every single one that isn't a first-run release. I'm pretty certain Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and a couple others, like X, will be out there very, very shortly. But I decided to give this a shot because it looked very technically impressive, and the cast includes Dev Patel, as Gawain, King Arthur's nephew, Sarita Claudhuri, who plays Mother, oh Mother, and Alicia Vikander, who is also an Ex Machina and in the new Tomb Raider movie, and also in the second new Tomb Raider movie that's coming out. She's a terrific actress, by the way. I think she should be getting a lot more leading roles, as Joel Edgerton as the Lord, and Ralph Ineson, who is in The Witch, the dad in The Witch, as the Green Knight. And no amount of makeup can hide that face, and I mean that with respect. Ralph Ineson is actually a really good actor. And you note that I mentioned a few times how the technical aspects are just a feast for the eyes. Because unfortunately, as much as I love A24 films, and even if you know the story, this film should have had about 20 minutes cut out of it. I mean, I'm just being perfectly honest. There were some points where I was like, wow, this is really lavish and pretty and everything, and it looks great. Can we move on already? Because there were a lot of times where I was enjoying this film, but I wanted to like it more than I did. And unfortunately, the plot, such as it is, I will describe very, very quickly. Well, at the Knights of the Round Table, Gawain basically ends up, being tasked with taking on the Green Knight, Ralph Ineson. And it's a game. Anywhere that he strikes the Green Knight, he must return to his Green Chapel in a year for an accompanying blow, where basically, like, you hit me you cut me in the arm, I cut you in the arm. You cut me in the leg, I cut you in the leg. Heck, if you just stub my toe, I stub your toe. Well, pretty much what the funniest thing was about this is Gawain decides to go all bold and cut off the Green Knight's head. But since the Green Knight is immortal and not of this earth because he's a Green fucking Knight, this basically sets a plan in motion where after a year he must go on this journey through many, many lands and encounter strange, wonderful, horrible, and weird things, witchcraft, weird people, a fox, and a bunch of weird stuff. I mean, it really is one of those very obscure movies that A24 is known for, and while I do appreciate the technical achievements, this movie is beautifully shot, gorgeous visuals, great cinematography, the costumes are impressive, and all for about $14 to $15 million, I believe, and for that, they did a damn good job with this. It was sumptuous landscapes, and it looked great. It also seemed like everybody took a box of Quaaludes. Each person took a box of Quaaludes before doing their roles. There's having a, nice, even pace to it, and even a slow pace, and then there's just having a languid pace. It just got to the point where it dragged so much. And I've watched plenty of movies that have dragged. People argue that Lamb, that came out last year, dragged. I enjoyed Lamb. Lamb grabbed me more than this. Unfortunately, with this movie, it wasn't even the weirdness that bothered me. It was just the fact that it dragged. And that, unfortunately, is the movie's undoing. Whether you know the story or not, this is a bit of a chore to get through at times. And that shouldn't be the case. Now, it is very, again, visually impressive. And there's some great music and great cinematography and all that stuff. And Alicia, who's just fucking goddamn gorgeous, good lord. She's in this. And then there's other, tales as well, based on, the mythology and everything. And King Arthur looking like he's about 8,000 years old. Almost as old as Bobby Fish. Non-wrestling fans have no fucking idea who I'm talking about. And from there, we, get a movie that at times grabs you and then other times just lets you go and then just lets you go off in the distance, and that's pretty much what happens. I am going to get into spoilers here in a little bit, but I will say that from a technical standpoint, this movie is very visually sumptuous, And that is its biggest achievement. And the sets, everything, it really is beautifully shot, well lit. Then there are times where some scenes are a little bit too goddamn dark to the point where it's like, okay, it sounds like a nice scene. I sure wish I could see it. If you're an MST3K fan, you may know that line. But overall, it ends up being uneven. And that's its biggest undoing. 20 minutes could have been cut out of this and you wouldn't have missed shit. And it actually probably would have been a better paced movie. Nothing wrong with letting things play out. I don't know. This movie just didn't grab me as much as I thought it would. I'm still going to give it a... I'm still going to, recommend that you guys watch it. Maybe you'll feel otherwise. But nevertheless, let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay. So after cutting off the Green Knight's head, he is given this task of, a year from now, you must come out to my place. You need to come to my crib so I can stab you. And, yeah, basically that ends up what's happening. He basically does this. He decapitates the knight and then has to do what he has to do. He has his, his lady, Essel, Alicia Vikander. And it's also told in chapters. It's told in the Christmas part. It's told in a quick, too quick year, where this year passes by really quickly. Talks to his mother. Da, da, da. He tells King Arthur, I fear I'm not meant for greatness. And there's a prayer in Latin, and it basically says, on your journey, pray to these, you will be fine. He's given a little jingle bell or whatever, because that's the Jingle Bell Medieval Rock. And then also is given a band blessed by his mother in incantations, because his mother's in all the kind of witchcrafty stuff. And as long as he has that tied around his waist, he's fine. He won't suffer anything. And then the journey out, and he has flashbacks like, Essel says, well, could I be your lady? Could I be your lady? And I am your decapitated man. Okay, it was a bad rendition of that Celine Dion song, and whoever else sung it before her. He goes among some killing fields, sees this weird scavenger, the scavenger that ends up leading him into a forest area where he gets besieged by 2 other thieves, because they're a pack of thieves. But then there's no honor among thieves, and this guy races off with the horse and also the Green Knight's axe that, Gawain has just had there for a while. And he somehow manages to get free. Even though at first they show something and it looks like he's dead. I go, okay, movie over. Don't know why there's still an hour left. Oh, we're back. He's back alive. And a meeting with Saint Winifred, who, I forget the actress's name. She does look familiar, though. She needs help because he's in her house and she lost her head. So he digs in the lake and finds her head. Okay, he found the screaming skull. Hooray! And I did like the one line, though. What is it? It's like, what are you, a ghost, or are you a real person or a spirit? What does it matter? I just want my head. I mean, that's fair. Also, there's a fox there, because what does the fox say? God damn if I know. It doesn't say anything for a while. Foxes don't talk. The Green Knight is someone you know, but who is someone I know? Now is the Green Knight somebody that I used to know, somebody that I used to know? Then we get an interlude with the fox, and they're doing their thing. Then we see some giants there. It's attack on Titan, Knighton, as it were. Boy, that was a missed opportunity. Yeah, giant knights giants. They might be giants among the mountains that he can't hitch a ride on. As hilarious as that would have been. And then an exchange of winnings. Basically, he ends up at this house of this lord, played by Joel Edgerton. There's a blind lady there for some reason. And the lady is also played by Alicia Vikander, because apparently they want to make her work twice and only give her one paycheck. But also it's to symbolize the fact he misses his woman. She ends up painting him, and the painting almost kind of becomes a little bit like the Dorian Gray deal. And there was a bit of a love scene. I would not be able to resist her either. Seriously, she's fucking hot. They talk about, before that, they talk about, green, red is the color of lust, and if you rip it up, green is all it's left. Green spreads. This green will devour you. It will swallow you all. And the Lord wants to know, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you leaving all of a sudden? Because we said the chapel wasn't that far. That's okay, I'll just leave because I boinked your wife. What? No, nothing. I didn't do anything like that. The fox gets freed. The fox then tells that the fox got captured during this whole damn thing because I guess the fox didn't go in the chapel, or not the chapel, but the castle. And the fox tells him, this will not be a happy end for you. By the way, earlier when those scavengers got him, they stole all his stuff, including that band that was supposed to protect him. And then the lady had a rendition of it, or had the same damn thing. She gave it back to him. You have to wonder if he imagined all the scavenger stuff up, because he still has the Green Knight's axe after he retrieved that lady's skull, as you do, and he goes to the chapel and sees the Green Knight, who does nothing for hours on end. Tell me, my boy, is it Christmas? Why, it is. Good sir, is it Christmas? Kneel, and we shall complete our game. And it was at this point that Gawain probably realized I probably should have just cut him in the leg, and then maybe I wouldn't be losing my head. Well, then, he panics and runs. He grips the earth, he panics and runs. He does say before, is this all there is? Well, what else should there be? Ralph Ineson says, and he runs. And the horse is fine somehow. So despite not completing the game, everything seems to be going good. Everything seems to be going good the voyage home. He makes it back home really quickly. Him and Essel have a kid. He also fathers a kid with the girl that was decapitated, lost her head, or a variation of her. This is where things get really weird. But then later, years and years later in battle, his son dies, and he's estranged from Essel, and then everybody dies, including when he removes that band and his head falls off. And then it flashes back to the fact that he's holding the earth. He had this entire vision, the last 20 minutes, in his head in about 20 seconds, seemingly. Or the Green Knight was just sitting there like, you ready yet? How about now? How about now? How about now? Now? And then it says, okay, well, off with your head. And then that's it. The Green Knight, again, technically impressive and had some good acting, but also just it was too laboriously paced. It didn't grab me like it should have. I'm still going to give it a B for the technical achievements and for a few things that were pretty good, but this wasn't one of A24's best efforts outside of the technical stuff that I talked about. So agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.